Hello and welcome to Nkumat Online Academy. This class is for Basic 5 and we are going to learn ratio. So we are going to study the following: to know the meaning of ratio, to know how to write or how to express ratios, and we are also going to learn how to find the ratio of tens to tens. Don't worry, I'll explain what I mean by tens to tens, and how to find the ratio of tens to their group. Don't also worry, I'm going to explain this. Then how to increase ratios and how to decrease ratios. This is actually how ratios look like this picture here, 2:1. So we are going to look at the meaning of ratio. You are going to understand what ratio is all about at the end of this lesson. So I say that we have tens to tens and tens to their group. What I mean by tens to tens is, if I want to compare orange and mango, that is different things. So comparing different things like orange and mango, or boys and girls, that is what I mean by tens to tens, different things. Orange is a 10, mango is another 10. Comparing two of them, bringing two of them to see which one is bigger or which one is smaller, is what I mean by 10 to 10. Then tens to their group means when we collect our tens together, or something, when we collect them together, there are many things. When we get them as a group, or all of them are together, comparing one of them with all the ones in the group is what I mean by tens to their group. Like when we have orange and mango in a basket, when we want to compare or to find out how many oranges are there in the basket compared to other ones in the basket, that is what I mean by tens to their group. Or in your class, we have boys and you have girls. Every class is a group. So when you want to check the number of boys in the class, that is what we call tens to their group. Or we want to check the number of girls in the group, that is what we call tens to their group. So if you have different things, I want to check one in the group, the number of one of them in the group, that is what we call tens to their group. I hope this is clear. Now let's look at the meaning of ratio. Ratio, I say that ratio compares tens to tens. If we want to compare something or two or more tens, we use what we call ratio to compare them. Or if we are comparing tens in mathematics, what we're actually doing is finding their ratios. So ratio compares tens to tens, normally two or more tens. If you have only one thing, you are not comparing it with any another thing. But when you have two or more things, you can compare two of them to see which one is bigger, which one is taller, which one is shorter. Comparing two of them to see which one is bigger or which one is taller or something like that is what we call ratio. Now look at how we write ratio. If you want to write ratio, this symbol here, double full stop, we call it colon. This symbol here, we use it to separate the two things that we want to compare the two or more things that we want to compare. We place this symbol, this sign between them to compare the things we want to compare. Like 2 and 3, if we want to compare them, we write it like this: 2 and put the colon and put 3. This is read this way: 2:3. So this, if we want to read it, we say 2:3. 2:3. That is how to read the first one. So if we want to read the second one, we say 3:5. The second one is 3:5. So if we want to write it, we write it this way. But if we want to read it, we read it this way: 3:5. This one, the third one, is 2:5:7. 2:5:7. So that is how to write or read ratios. Now, you can also see that ratio compares, it can compare more than two things, like in this example 3, 2:5:7. We have three things that it is comparing here, but in the first and second numbers or examples, we are comparing two things, but in the third one, we have three things that we are comparing: 2:5:7. Now, we look at the ratio of tens to tens. I've explained what tens to tens means. So when we want to get the ratio of tens to tens, how do we do it? To express the ratio of one thing to another thing, what we do is that we get the numbers that we want to find their ratio, the two or three numbers, or two or more numbers that we want to get their ratio or express their ratio. Then we write the first one and put the ratio symbol, use it to separate the first one and the other numbers. So like if we want to compare boys and girls, like 2 boys and 3 girls, we write 2, which represents the boys, and then we put the ratio symbol, and now we put 3, which represents the number of girls. 4 books and 9 pencils, we write 4, which represents the number of books, and then we put the ratio symbol and put 9, which represents the number of pencils. In the same way, 3 men and 5 women is written this way. We write it okay. So this is how to write 3 men and 5 women. We write 3 and put the ratio symbol and then put 5. 6 mangoes and 6 mangoes and 6 oranges. We write 6, we put the ratio symbol and we put the second 6, which represents the oranges. Then 2 mangoes, 5 cashews, and 7 bananas. This one, we write 2, we put the ratio symbol, we write 5, which represents the cashews. Then we put the ratio symbol and now we put 7. So this is how to write the ratio of tens to tens. We are comparing each of them individually, one thing to another thing individually. Then if we want to write the ratio of one thing to their group. What we do here is that we get the total number of things in the group, and then for each of the things that we want to write is ratio, we write the ratio of that, the number of that thing first, and then put the ratio symbol and put the total number of things in the group. Like when we have two mangoes and when we have two mangoes, two mangoes, when we have two mangoes and three oranges in a basket, two of them combined will form a group of fruits in the baskets. So if we want to write the ratio of the mangoes in the baskets, first of all, we have to check the total number of fruits in the baskets. The total number of fruits in the baskets is two mangoes and three oranges, which is 2 plus 3, that is 5. That is for the group. Now for the mango, we write the number of mango, which is 2, and then we put the ratio sign, and then we put the total number of fruits in the baskets. For orange, we write the number of orange, and then we put the ratio symbol, and now we put the total number of fruits in the basket. So you can now see the difference between writing the ratio of tens to tens and tens to their group. In the group, we take the total number of the tens in the group, and then we compare the individual tens in the group with the total number of tens in the group. So that is the difference between two of them. So it depends on what they ask you to look for. Now, how to increase ratios? We can actually increase ratios. If we are given a ratio and we are asked to increase it, normally we can multiply it. When you multiply something, you are increasing the numbers. So when we have a ratio and we are given a number to multiply to it, we multiply to all the terms in the ratio. And what I mean by term is each of the numbers in the ratio. Like if you write 2 is to 3, 2 is a term in the ratio and 3 is another term in the ratio. So instead of calling them numbers, we can also call them the terms in the ratio. So if I to increase 2 is to 3 by 2, what we do is that we use this 2 that we are increasing it by. We use the 2, multiply the first 2 in the ratio by 2, which we are increasing it with. Then the 3, you also multiply the 3 by the 2. We are increasing with these 2 here. So use these 2 to times these 2, and use the 2 to also times the 3. So that is what we are doing here. And when you times 2 times 2, it will give us 4. And you times 3 by 2, it will give us 6. And so that is why we have 4 is to ratio, or 4 is to 6 as the new ratio. So that is the trick. When you are giving numbers to increase, use the one they ask you to increase it with. Use it to times all the terms, all the numbers in the ratio, and then after timesing it or multiplying it, then solve it and get the new numbers and put the ratio symbol to separate them. If we are giving numbers to decrease, can actually decrease a ratio also. So we can be given a number or a ratio and asked to decrease it with a certain value or with a certain number. Now what we do in decreasing the number is to divide each of the terms in the ratio by the number or the value given to us. For instance, if we are given 2 is to 3 and asked to decrease it by 2, What we do is that we divide 2 by 2 and divide 3 by 2. Now, example here, we are given 8 is to 4 is to 8 and asked to decrease it by 2. So what we are going to do is that we use this we use it to divide 4 and we also use it to divide 8. So when we use the 2 to divide 4, we get 2. Then we put the ratio symbol. Then we use it to divide 8 again, and then we get 4. So we write it. That is here. Example 2. If we are given 9 is to 6, and we are asked to decrease it by 3. So we now know what to do. We use the 3 to divide 9, and we also use the 3 to divide 6. When we use 3 to divide 9, we get 3. We put the ratio symbol, and then we use the 3 again to divide 6, and we get 2. We write it, and that is why we have this. So this is how to decrease ratios. Okay, so I believe this is very clear. And in this lesson, you can see that we've been able to treat all these. We've learned how the meaning of ratio, how to write ratios or how to express it, and also how to read the ratios when written. When we are writing it, we write the numbers and put semicolon to separate two of them. And if we are reading it, we say is to the first number, and then now we say is to, and then we put the second one. Like if you have 2 semicolon 3, we say 2 is to 3. 4 colon 5, 4 is to 5. So and so on and so forth. And then we also learned how to find the ratio of tens to tens, which I've explained the meaning of this, and how to find the ratio of tens to their group. I've also explained this, and how to increase ratios and also how to decrease ratios. So this structure here, this diagram here, shows us what ratio is really all about. We are comparing things. This is something, a ratio of 2 is to 1. So this is showing us that in this diagram, or if this is a piece of something, we have two parts of it. Takes this line, then one part of it is this, comparing the parts of thing. So part of 2 of it is this, from here to here, and then the other part is this. So in a whole of a thing, you get the parts of it, and that is what we are actually talking about in a ratio. So I believe that everything is very clear in this class. Thank you.